friends. How's everybody doing today? I am recording on my phone today, so I'm having. It's been a while since I've used my phone to record, so I have to remember to look at the camera and not the big red recording button. Because I'm at home today. I'm recording this FLOSSTUBE video. It is 7:45 a.m. in the morning here in London, Ontario, Canada. My name is Caroline. Welcome back to my channel. This is a channel all about crafting, making, cross stitch mostly, a little bit of knitting and sewing, etc. Luna's here with me today. She's already asleep, so we may hear her in a little bit. I'm at home today because, well, I'm taking the next couple of days off. I'm taking a few days off. It's Nicholas's birthday tomorrow. He's turning 13 years old, and John and I have both been working a lot lately. It's been a really full couple of months. John and I are both small business owners, and we are currently in lockdown here in Ontario, and so that combined with moving a business from my home outside of the home, it's been really full time. So we thought that this would be a great time just to take a few days off as a family and spend that time with Nicholas to celebrate his big day. 13. I can't believe he's turning 13. So I've really been looking forward to this little bit of time. I have some plans for some personal crafting that I'm very excited about, and I've got some things to share. I don't have a giveaway this week. I've left it at the workshop, so I'll pull the winner for last week's and have a new giveaway next Monday. But I posted a little. You can post these things on your channel in the community section, where if you're not going to put up a video or you want to do a poll or anything like that. So I posted on Monday a photo. And that I wasn't doing a video, that I would do a video today to say hi. And I posted a photo of my whip, and I said, I'll be really embarrassed if this isn't finished by Wednesday. And then the last couple of days have been full on. And so last night I thought, if I don't finish this, I'm going to be so embarrassed tomorrow. And then I literally fell asleep with the needle in my hand. So I did not finish it. However, it's going to be top of my list to finish this before I work on anything else. So you can rest assured that at some point in the next 5 days, this will get finished. So this is, of course, my Modern Folk Embroidery Distelfink hearts. Oh, look at it. It's so embarrassing. Look. See, I didn't even finish my thread. I fell asleep. When your head does that little, like that, and you keep bobbing up. Yeah, I didn't even do that. I was out, sitting up straight in my bed. I stitch in bed. I catch a little bit of razzing about this because, people are like, what about if you lose a needle? I have lost a needle one time, but I didn't know that I'd lost the needle, because sometimes you've got a couple on your needle minder, until I found it in my bed the next day. So, but normally it's not a concern. It's okay. It's all good. So yes, I fell asleep. The needle was in my hand, but it still had floss attached to it. So I was okay. So, oh, I'm so close. I just have to finish the border and then it's done. So my plan is I have the pillow form. I have two pieces that I'm going to be turning into pillow finishes. This is one of them. The other one is an amazing finished piece that Mary Ellen sent to me for my son. It is a Baltimore Ravens logo that she stitched, and I received 2 stitched Raven logos for my son. And the other one was from Carrie out in Australia, and that one I still have to finish as well. So in the next couple of weeks, for the first one is the pillow, because I now have the pillow form. The other one I still have to, I thought he wanted a sleeve for his device, but now I'm thinking I might be better off making something else that, you know, because devices change quite quickly. Technology is obsolete so fast, and I don't want the size of it to be outdated quickly. You know what I mean? I want it to be something that he can use for years to come. So I'm not quite sure that how I was going to finish that is maybe the best way. But the pillow finish is, I've got the form. It finally came in. It's finally the right size. And my plan is to finish it at some point this weekend. So I should have that to share with you on Monday. So this Distelfink Hearts by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. The details on this are, this is a 28 count dirty linen that I had in my stash, and the two floss colors are, the lighter one is called Iris and the darker one is called Wisteria, and those are Leo&Roxy cotton floss, overdyed cotton floss. I did have the Wisteria, I had one skein that was more variegated and one skein that was a little less. And so I did try to pull more of the darker shades. And so if it got into the lighter shades, I left a little bit of it. And then I tried to, when using those variegated flosses, you can choose, you know, where you want the colors to mostly hit, right? So you can pick and choose. If you want a darker color of the variegation one spot and the lighter in another, then you can move it around. You can do whatever you want. And I really like, do you see the star at the top? See how it kind of faded out in that top corner? I really like that. And then down here in the border, I've got some of that variegation going on in there. I really like that. So it's so pretty. I had a viewer help me out, which was so great because I had totally missed it. I was missing one of these little crosses beside the bird. One of the times that, one of the many times that I've showed this whip still unfinished. And fortunately somebody pointed it out. I think you've missed that little cross. And I had, so that was great because, you know, the last thing you want to do is do an FFO, especially into something that you really aren't going to want to take apart and realize afterwards that you've totally missed something. So this will be done next week. Oh, it's just okay. All right, I've shown it enough. You guys are probably totally sick of it. I'm getting sick of it. It's so beautiful though. Once it's finished, I will be happy. Okay, so the other thing that I've been working on at you know, when we've been sitting down and I've had, you know, 20-30 minutes after dinner with some television, I've had my another Modern Folk Embroidery, the 2021 mystery, it's not a mystery, excuse me, 2021 Stitch Along, excuse me, the Fruits of Plenty. I always want to call it Birds of Plenty. The Birds of Plenty, it's the Fruit of Plenty. And this is again another Modern Folk Embroidery pattern, and I'm almost, I say almost, these the monthly releases are big. They're not small. So I'm almost on January. Look at it. Oh, I love it so much. I love it, love it, love it. I love it. Look at that. It's so pretty. Oh, this fabric is just amazing. I love this fabric. So this is fabric by Jukis of XJU Designs. You can find her on Etsy. She lives in Hungary, and I think her fabric's really beautiful. And the two colors that I'm using for my chart are, again, Leo&Roxy cotton flosses, and the darker color is Royale, and the lighter color is Polar Ice, which we don't have back again. Something similar to Polar Ice, though less on the blue scale, more on the gray scale, is the Storm Cloud. So if I didn't have the Polar Ice, I probably would have used the Storm Cloud. But isn't it pretty? I'm so excited to get into the, you know, the Azizi stitching where you stitch the background and the motif kind of pops out of the stitching here. I'm really excited to get to. Yeah, I love this so much. However, this is going away just for a little bit. I don't really have big plans for May. I know everybody is always, I'm going to put this away for a little bit because I have some plans coming up for a couple of new starts, a couple of not small-ish charts. And so I've pulled out a super old whip, and I would really like this to be my focus for the next little while, the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks or however long, and before those new things are going to come into play. One of them I'm going to tell you about today, and the other one I'm going to save as a little bit of a surprise for next week. Okay, so let me tell you about the whip first. This older whip, lots of you who've been visiting with me for a long time, you'll remember this one. And I always hear some quiet cheers in the background when it comes out because it's so beautiful and it's such an old whip, and wouldn't it be great if Caroline got back to it and finished it? And I agree. So this is Rosewood Manor's Quaker Diamonds. There's the beauty shot there. It's such a beautiful pattern. And now my ironing board and iron are at the workshop. I know, I don't have an iron at home. Well, normally I would. However, the last few months have been a little crazy, and we've never really been an ironing kind of clothing family. Usually we're if it comes out, it has to come out of the dryer ready to wear sort of family. So that's why I don't have an iron here at the moment, and my fabric is wrinkled, but I think you'll forgive me. So here's where I'm at, and as you can see, not much has changed. Probably, when was the last time I showed this? Even last summer? 2 summers ago? I don't even remember. It's embarrassing. I'm using the word embarrassing a lot today. I'm going to stop doing that because these are, I don't want to be apologetic about my stitching because I work on what makes me happy when I want to. So if it's not done, it's not done, and that's okay. However, isn't it beautiful? Look at it. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. So my plan is, as soon as my Distelfink hearts is done, this is going to get loaded onto that frame, and I'm going to start working over on this side and work my way down. So I started, where did I start with this piece? I think I started in the top left corner, which is unusual for me. Normally I start at the bottom left. So yeah, it's been so long since I started this, I don't even remember. I am stitching this on a 32 count. This is my best guess, just looking at the fabric and what I'm pretty sure. I know my tastes haven't changed all that much, so I probably bought Dubloon, in a 32 count Dubloon, I think is a picture of this plus fabric. And the threads, this was a conversion that I bought way back when, of silks from Vikki Clayton. Vikki stopped dyeing for a long time, and her threads were really hard to find, and now she's dyeing again. And the easiest way to find her is on Facebook. She has a group, I think it's just called Vikki Clayton Silks. I have a lot of things to do today to get ready for Nicholas's birthday tomorrow, because I have a funny feeling his birthday presents are going to get wrapped in Christmas paper. But that's okay. That's all right, right? We're in lockdown here, so it's pandemic birthday number 2, so we're gonna just be happy with what we have. So editing for me today is going to be very minimal, and I'll probably not get this video up until later tonight. However, Vikki Clayton, Clayton, is it? Yeah, C-L-A-Y-T-O-N, and Vikki is spelled with K's, V-I-K-K-I, Vikki Clayton. And her silks are beautiful, and this was a conversion that she did, and I just bought I bought the whole conversion kitted for 32 count linen, and that's what I'm using. And so I think it's a really lovely conversion. I think the colors are beautiful. The letters are a little lighter blue, I think, definitely than what they look like on the chart. You can see it's much more of a darker blue there. But I like it. I think it's really pretty. The capital letters are done over 2, and I'm sure you can see how tiny the little ones are. Those little letters are done 1 over 1. So teeny, teeny, tiny. Very sweet. I remember stitching this motif at the cottage and just loving it. So I'm really excited to get back into this. You know, maybe I'll come down here and finish this one first. Then I'd feel quite a sense of accomplishment because I finished that little guy there. So, excuse me. That's the plan. That's the first plan. Second plan is I really want to get back to my, oh goodness, where's the chart? Here it is. Okay, there's going to be, I have this in, there we go. Okay, so this is, oh, and I don't have the cover photo here. Okay, I'll take a screen cap from online and I'll put it in while I'm chatting here. This is the Difarben Vonadigs, the Colors of Venice, which is a Historische Stickmuster pattern. Dorothy Kanzi. Dorothy you will have seen here on this channel as early as last week when she did a video all about silk floss. And if you haven't watched that yet, please do. If you had ever wondered about silk floss, or you just wanted to have a lovely visit with a wonderful stitcher, Dorothy's video I found informative and charming. And so this is her chart, and she had sent me this kit because I was going to talk about it, and I've only finished the bottom corner, and it feels like a little mini start and finish. So cross stitchers love acronyms, and I know Michelle Bendy has been calling these SAFs, start, hashtag SAF, start and finish. There's no way I could do it, you know, start and finish. There's a surprising number of stitches in that little square. This is a 40 count. It's a beautiful linen. It's a little bit more firm, like a little stiffer than most linen that I'm used to, but it feels very fine. I can't think of a better word to describe it. It's lovely quality. It feels like it's nice quality linen, if that makes sense. So my goal in May, the month of May, is to get a really good chunk of a second block done. And I mean, that's probably a lofty goal, but you know, if we don't say what we want to do or set the intention, then you know, you can't carry on if you don't start. So I'm going to start. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to come here or there. I have a funny feeling I might come over here because that's typically the way that I like to work. So over there. Isn't it beautiful? I love that so much. It's so pretty and so delicate. And the entire finished piece is stunning. So of course I would love to, it's just fun to work on. I love those pieces where you work on the design when you're feeling fresh, and then when you're feeling, you know, tired, you can just do the fill-in. It's just fill-in. And this is being stitched. So I told it's 40 count linen, and the thread are actually the silks that Dorothy was talking about, the Auvers Soie d'Alger. So that's how they come in those little mini skeins there. So what I've been doing is, as I use each color, so of course the first block only used 3 colors, I've been putting them on thread drops. Oh yeah, so I did get color ready for the next block, and I chose the dark blue, so that's interesting. I wonder which block I'd chosen. Aren't they pretty? Oh, they're just beautiful colors. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Got an ambulance going by at the moment. I hope everybody's okay. Actually, that might be a police car. Sometimes the sirens sound the same to me. Okay, so that is the colors of Venice and Quaker Diamonds. So those are my two sort of older whips that I'd really like to focus on in the month of May. I know a lot of stitchers are planning their own, you know, Whip Mania, Whip Sania, Stitch Mania or Stitch Sania. A couple of years ago, I think it was 2018, I did something called Whip Mania, where every day in the month of May, I picked an old whip and I just, you know, put a few stitches into that during the day, and that was fun. But I'd like to actually focus on a couple of the larger projects that I haven't really touched in a long time and put some love into them. So that's the plan. I love this dog so much. She's so sweet. She is just so sweet. She loves going to the shop. It's really cute. It's really sweet, and it's so nice having her there. Okay, so I have just, oh, I didn't show you my knitting. There's not much to show, but I did do some, so I better show you. My sock. This is my Leo&Roxy August 2019 Sock of the Month Club yarn, and I've got a good start on my gusset decreases. This I keep with me at the dinner table, and my father-in-law comes and eats with us Thursday through Sunday. So for those 4 nights when we sit, he has some trouble with his back and his knee, and it's difficult for him to sit for a long period of time, you know, on a couch or in a chair in the living room or whatnot. So when he comes over, we tend to stay at the dining room table and visit. And so after dinner with coffee, this is when I put a few rounds into my sock. So that's why it's not growing very fast, but you know, it sure is nice to have something like that in my hands while we're, you know, having coffee and just sitting there chit-chatting. And he likes to, he likes it. I think it reminds him, my mother-in-law knit. She didn't always knit for pleasure. She was very much a project knitter. So she would decide it's time, you know, so-and-so in the family hasn't had a sweater for a few years. It's time to knit them a sweater. You know, usually one of the grandkids or one of her children. And so she would buy the yarn for the project. She would choose the project, buy the yarn for the project, knit the project, which is completely not the kind of maker that I am at all. But it's so interesting to me how people are so different in how they operate. And so her mother, so John's grandmother, was a prolific knitter. And my mother-in-law, her name was Bridget. She used to always say to me, when she would see me knitting, she would say, oh, I really wish you'd met my mother, because I think you would have gotten on like house on fire, and she just would have, you know, she could have shown you so much. She could have taught you so much. You know, it's really interesting. There's a method of weaving in your ends. And if you know Stephen West designs they are phenomenal. I mean, his brain is just like, to be a little fly on the wall inside that man's brain, I just think would be the best day ever, because he's so creative and he's so smart about how he designs as his designs, and these things just kind of work together, and he's phenomenal. But he's got this method of weaving in ends, and he calls it the weave in Stephen. Well, that's the way my mother-in-law's mother, so John's grandmother, that's the way she wove in her ends. And I was always taught, my mother, Bridget would say, my mother would want you to weave in your ends like this, because it's a great way to do it. And this is how she did it. And, you know, she had this wonderful way of weaving in ends, and it was the Weave and Steven. So my mother-in-law's mother, John's grandma, was doing the Weave and Steven years ago. But anyways, I'm not sure she could have ever trademarked it, right? But if you get a chance, check out Steven's video. If you've ever done a project that has a ton of ends and you don't want to be stuck at the end of your project weaving in all kinds of ends, go and check out his method of weaving in ends. It really is, it's a game changer. So where was I going with this? Oh, she knit socks. She always had socks on her needles. She used DPNs. She used just 100% wool, and she always had socks on the go. And my father-in-law loves hand knit socks. So that was why last year I knit him the big gray socks. And now these socks are for me. These ones, I don't think he would appreciate the colors of those socks. He's more of a big gray sock kind of fella. Okay, so I have a little bit of haul today to share with you. I don't usually have haul, but today I have a few things that I've purchased, just a couple that I thought I would share. The first one is actually, it's a magazine. And I don't know why I've never shared this before, because this is like a little treasure to me. I think of these as like books. I don't think of these as magazines. I know I used to purchase the, you know, the monthly cross stitch magazines, the various ones. I didn't have a subscription. What I did was I just purchased them through my local needlework shop. And then I noticed I really wasn't, I wasn't really, there would maybe be one pattern in the whole magazine that I thought, oh, I might stitch that. And that was usually about it. And they weren't inexpensive. Those magazines are actually fairly dear when you think about, you know, so I guess if there would be one chart in it, it would be worth the cost of the magazine. But it always seemed like, then what do I do with the magazine? So other than the Christmas ornament, just cross stitch Christmas ornament magazine, I stopped buying the monthly magazines. So this is a zine, but it's not a zine. I'm showing my age here because I'm calling it that, but I think of this as more than a magazine. I think of this as like this is a reference crafting book style magazine that I would never get rid of. It's one that I would reference for various things, or just flip through for inspiration, or just read on a quiet day with a cup of tea. And I've been saving this. I'm way behind. I think there's like 6 or 7 more issues, but you can buy the back issues on the website. I'm talking about making. So this is number 4. I'm missing number 1. Number 1, I didn't get in on it fast enough, and then I haven't been able to find number 1. A friend sent number 2. Cheryl, if you're happen to be watching this today, Cheryl, I just, again, the fact that you had sent me that so long ago, really, I just love it so much. So, and then I bought number 3, and now I savor them. I savor them because they are so wonderful. The photography is calm and the colors are muted, which, you know, is perfect for me when I just want to quiet my brain down. And, you know, it's making, so it's not just cross stitch. So for example, this Sleepy Kitten set by Susan B. Anderson. And look at that. Look at the photography. Look at the project. There's even a little sleeping bag. I mean, how sweet is that? And, you know, just being able to flip through and look at the patterns and look at the charts. There's a whole cloth quilt. So the very next project is a whole cloth quilt. And so you can see the colors and the photographs are just there to be savored, not to just be flipped through. And so, you know, you could spend a whole afternoon reading this. And for a crafter, this is just, you know, it's such a pleasure. Look at this hat. I mean, look at that hat. There's usually a little bit of embroidery. There's usually a little bit of stitching. There's usually some baking. There's a recipe here for a chai toddy. I love this. So making is put out by Carrie Bostick Hodge, I think, who's a designer out in the East Coast of the United States, out in Maine, I believe. And I mean, look at this. I'm gonna have to look up. See what they've done on the pocket of that jacket that they've made. Just some really sweet Japanese style. Is that sashiki? What is that called? Oh, I love that. I mean, look at how simple and pretty that is. It's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So projects for knitters and makers: knit, sew, embroider, crochet, quilt, and more. What else can I say? Not much. It was a treat for myself, and it's one that I have been saving this. I got it a month ago. I got it in my mailbox a month ago, and I've been saving it. This weekend is the time. Okay, I also received a couple of goodies that I've been waiting for a long time. Things are just slow and back ordered and taking their sweet time. So this came from Traditional Stitches out in Calgary. And I have been in love with this chart for ages. And I finally thought, just get it. So this is the Hello from Liz Matthews First Day of Christmas sampler and tree. I love this chart so much. I love the 12 Days of Christmas, you know, images. And I have a bag for it. I'm ready to go. And look at it. So I'm gonna stitch the framed version. It's so beautiful. My fabric is still on back order. I've ordered the called for fabric, which I think is called Fog. But apparently it's on its way. Apparently it's on its way. I think I ordered this maybe 3 or 4 months ago, so it's been out of stock for at Traditional Stitches for quite a while. So it took a while to come, but worth the wait. And I did get the DMC. I'm going to stitch it with Liz's called for DMC colors. It's such a pretty palette. Do you see that? There's a skein of 310. If anyone does not need 310, it would be me. I have a fair bit. I've got enough 310. Oh, it's just so pretty. Such pretty colors. So I'm excited about that. I don't know when I'm going to start it, but I love it. Okay. All right. Next up and last is a little piece of fabric. Now, this fabric, wait till you see this. This is a Picture This Plus, and I was completely enabled by Carrie. Carrie is the Leo and Roxy, one of the pair. Roxy is her bird. She's one of the dyers of Leo&Roxy Yarn Co. Carrie had bought some fabric. I think she was in the Fabric of the Month Club, and one of the colors that had come in her package was Huntress from Picture This Plus. When I saw it, you have that visceral reaction of, I need that. I have no idea what I'm going to stitch on it, but I need that. That was not a want. That was I need that in my life. It has to be in my life, which is so silly, right? Of course it doesn't have to be in my life, but I felt envy. I felt a little bit of jealousy that was not in my stash. And so I did hop online and I did buy it. But then it arrived and I'm like, why did I buy such a small piece? But I'm glad I bought a small piece because I have no idea what I'm going to put on it. Could you imagine if I bought a bigger piece? And I don't know, maybe I'll find a perfect project and then I'll be sad that I didn't have a bigger piece. However, look at this color. I know. anyone who knows me is not shocked that I love this color. This is my color. It is jaw-droppingly good. I mean, look at that color. Look at that color. That is just, oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is a 18 by 13 and a half piece. So I'll serge the side of it next week so that it doesn't start to fray, and then I'll keep it in the back of my mind. Look at, I know I'm wearing my old sweater, my cozy sweater. I'm on vacation. I'm on holiday, so it's time to wear the old cozy comfy clothes. But yeah, this color, oh, I just think it's phenomenal. So it's called Huntress, Huntress by Picture This Plus. And that's it. That's what I bought. That's going in my stash. So, all right, so that is it for me today. I have a lot of I have a lot of things to do today in order to celebrate Nicholas's birthday tomorrow, which 13. Holy cow. Holy Hannah Banana. All right, that's it for me today. I will be back next week. I hope to be back on Monday with a regular Monday FLOSSTUBE update and the giveaway, another giveaway, and funny stories. They would be nice to so that people know that I wasn't ignoring them, because they took the time to send me their emails with their funny stories, and I haven't shared them yet. So I'm feeling a little bit of guilt about that. So I will try to make sure that I fit that in next week. Maybe not into Monday's video. I'll probably do a separate video with just the stories so that we can sit down and have a cup of tea and a little laugh together. All right, so I'll see you on Monday. Take care, everybody. I hope you're well. I hope that you're safe, and I hope that you have a few minutes over the next few days just to relax and enjoy yourself. A little bit of self-care. And on that note, I will see you on Monday. Oh, wait. I always forget this. I'm always asked. So if you're still here at the end, I'll probably get asked this question because I've left it to the end and lots of people turn off the video before we get to the end. I'm always asked about this piece. This is a sampler. It's an oldie by Pat Rogers. And I just believe it's called the Alphabet Sampler by Pat Rogers. And I think that's Rodgers. But if you just Google Pat Rogers cross stitch alphabet sampler, I suspect you'll come up with the right one. It's an oldie back from the early 90s, I think. And that was the very first piece that I stitched on linen. Very first one. So it's quite an accomplishment. And it's kind of pretty. Really pretty. I love it. So this used to be Nicholas's bedroom. That's been on his wall since he was little, and when he moved out of this bedroom, he didn't seem to ask to have it hung back up in his new bedroom. So anyways, that's what that is. So all right, on that note, I'll see you on Monday. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching.